Hello everybody and welcome back to Nanatsu no Maken ga Shihai Suru, episode 8. Episode 8 out of 13. I had to double check if it's a single core or double core, but no, it's a single core. Right. Again, I don't really know what to expect from this episode. Because anything can happen, and each episode is more or less self-contained, tells like 3-4 stories that are mostly self-contained, besides the few episodes that ended with some actual, not a cliffhanger, but with a potential for continuation. Right, like Nanao and Oliver having issues with Mr. Andrews, and then the next episode there was the Colosseum battle. And there are, of course, episodes who tell us about the overarching plot, but there's still no, like, continuity, full continuity between episodes. So it's really hard to predict what's gonna happen in any particular singular episode. I can tell you what happened in the previous one, though. That much I do remember. The biggest thing, of course, was that Pete turned out to be a reversi? Reversi, yeah, like that game. Right, Pete turned out to be a reversi, which means he randomly, switches sexes. And that also gives him the power to essentially master two different powers, right? As in his male form, he has mastery over, fire magic. In his female form, he has mastery over thunder magic. So it gives him two attributes, something that no non-reversi wizard can have, I assume, at least. If it was common that wizards have mastery of multiple elements, there wouldn't really be any point to reversi, would there? So probably not something, at least not something common. Maybe actually something. Maybe there are grand wizards out there, born with the mastery of all 4 elements and whatnot, but we haven't heard any such stories, at least. And thanks to that, we got into that a little bit of an underground community for reversi and other people with sex-based traits. I assume people who, I don't know, maybe like, what was her name? Ophelia? The succubus lady? Yeah, maybe like people like her, who maybe are born with innate powers like that, maybe transgender people, non-binary people, etc., etc., etc. And ones who use sexual magic or something like that. I don't know. We weren't really shown any other examples besides reversi, and I guess Carlos's singing ability, if that can even be treated as a sexual. I don't think so. Whatever. There's no point really speculating about things we weren't shown, right? But more things happened, of course. Brooms. Flying on brooms. Brooms are apparently animals. And from what you guys told me in the comments, it's not that animals evolved themselves to look like brooms, it's that wizards made brooms to look like these animals. Which doesn't make sense, but is interesting. So I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it as an explanation, absolutely. And of course we have the archetype of an unruly broom who doesn't let anybody fly on her, who will back you off, who will not be tamed by anybody, except Nanao, because of course. all of the brooms love Nanao, and so does this very special one, who is apparently the same broom that Oliver's mother used. So that's another interesting tidbit of connection between Oliver and Nanao. And I wonder if some sort of familial ties will resurface between them. Maybe, maybe not, I'm not sure. Maybe Nana was being taught in secret by Oliver's mother. Who's to say, really? Who's to say? Anything else? We met Chala's father in full. He now, what's the word? Not leads, not provides, not performs. I guess performs alchemy classes would be an apt description for what he's doing. But yeah, he's the new alchemy teacher, at least temporarily, until Darius is found, which he won't be, we know that. And we also had our first class with Enrico Forgieri, which was interesting. Although, again, from what you guys tell me in the comments, it was fairly toned down in the anime from what it was in the original, in the source material, because in the source material those traps actually exploded, and then added to that explosion were the snakes, and multiple people got bit, and it was a whole thing. This was in this anime it was very light, just poof, snakes, right? But yeah, another teacher, another target, because of course he took part in killing of Oliver's mother. We still don't know for what reason though. And the teacher body also had a meeting about Darius's disappearance. Maybe he's lost in the labyrinth, unlikely. Who could it have been? Perhaps one of us. We are the only ones strong enough to, like, kill each other. What if it was a student? Then nothing changes. Right, so we know that Esmeralda at least cares for her people. You can't fault her for that. She's not the archetype of an antagonist, of a villain who's like, oh, one of my generals died, oh well, so be it. Apparently he wasn't strong enough. She cares. One of her subordinates died, well, we will exact revenge. We can't have people killing our people. Right? So that's interesting. That's interesting for sure. Anything else significant happened in a previous episode? I don't think so. I think that essentially sums it up. So how about we just start watching this one, right? To do that, you will of course need your subs to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show, and I'm gonna have to lift the camera and ask you for your support. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word, costs you nothing, helps a lot. And with all of that out of the way, we can start watching episode 8 of Nanatsu no Maken ga Shihai Suru in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, we learn about broom sports. Not just Quidditch. Okay, broom battles. You'd find yourself, well, fencing on brooms. Yeah. Who might you be? Oh, the guy from the end of the previous episode, who's like, oh, friends, we can't have that. uh, Also, if ahead of time, I'm gonna say, if I feel like I'm not entirely woken up yet, that's because I'm not. I decided to take a 15-minute power nap before recording. Well, that 15 minutes predictably turned into 2 hours, so I'm a little bit groggy still. But it'll pass. It'll pass. Okay, so who's that guy? Tullio Rossi. We know his name. We don't know his agenda, though. Besides friendship, and that's essentially it. Is he just a meddler? Is he there just to try and break their friendship? I don't know. Kind of a snake that wants to weasel his way into their friend group and break it apart from inside. I don't know. Different possibilities. He didn't really try to integrate himself in their friend group, did he? Maybe he's gonna be the outsider, like, oh, did you hear that Oliver? It was Oliver who stole your pudding. Yes, it was him. Easy. Why is he taking such an interest in Pete? Is he also a reversi? Yeah, very much so. For no reason. Again, probably in the source material there is a reason why Pete is so goddamn angry. But they've met once, and Pete is already out for blood. Yeah. Oh, he's just going to expose him like that. Ah, sow the seeds of doubt, figure out the weakest link, the, the most fertile soil to spread his bullshit. Okay, I see what he's doing. I see what he's doing. Okay, two combat nerds arguing whether their brand new friend should start watching Star Trek or Star Wars. That's what it is. Oh, your unique your unique style? Mixture of styles? Magic. Yeah. Boost myself with magic and stab. Nope. Chanting takes time. Yeah, makes sense. Is there enough distance for you to manage to cast a spell in the time it takes your enemy to, to arrive at your position? Yes. Does it involve human experimentation? He just wants to stir shit up. I mean, sure, a friendly competition, I see nothing wrong with that. He's an interesting character. Yes, of course. Of course, Nanao will participate. Probably, yes. Or not, okay. So he's no longer being, like, withdrawn, trying not to stand out. We haven't seen Shella fight yet. Simple enough. And everybody starts with a single medal. Is that it? Okay, so he seems to just be a shit stirrer who wants things to be interesting around school, essentially. Yeah, you talk a lot. Yeah, you deserve your name. Yeah. I wasn't listening. Okay, we have a proper duel. I like her. I like her. No, no, not really. Dodge. Or that. Redirect the spell. That's one medal acquired. One shot, one kill. Oh, we will have to fight each other. That's right. I had to check the timer if it's not the end of the episode. But no, we still have the time. Quite a lot, in fact. Is he reversing? Polonium tea. Probably not. Ophelia? Hello. What you doing around these parts? Friend or foe? Hmm. Do we know Carlos? Oh, right. Carlos Withrow. That's actually good advice. Especially with Tulio being around. Why? What will be happening for the next few months? Okay, tea and cake in the labyrinth. Secret base, essentially. Okay. Useful. Leah? Why the nickname? Was she a part of your friend group but then split up or something like that? That's why she has a nickname? Yeah. Seems so. Okay, everything kinda falls together. Even those like little vignettes that seem to have no real meaning. It's it connects. Okay, I'm glad that this is the advice. I was afraid that they're gonna be like, no, no, she makes you lose focus on the mission. You mustn't be friends with her. She changes you into someone different, someone who you aren't and shouldn't be. You know, some kind of a talk like that. But no, no, they are supportive. Okay, so is that actually his reason? Okay, let's go. So essentially purely melee combat, except uh, except defensive spells. Okay, that's an interesting tactic. He has a way with words. Okay, okay, okay. Want it now. So far, you seem to be falling for each of them, but you hold your ground, so. Yeah, Olivia really keeps forgetting that besides the arm with the swords, there's also the other arm, two legs, and there's also a headbutt. Yeah. Is this chess? Ah, yes, a rookie mistake. In 8 moves, I would have won. Yeah. Okay, he also has a little bit of a almost a buckler shield. Now give me your medals. Okay, at least he's a good sport about it. Hey, I genuinely did not expect that. Right, it was the product of years and years and years of studying by other people than him. That's an interesting way to look at it. I haven't created my own knowledge. I've just been coasting on the knowledge of my ancestors, essentially. Healing something? No? Why? What? Okay, a little bit of a Gapumoe. Okay, that's an interesting character. But why the fuck would she jump straight into kill me? Whomst. Is that Cyrus? No. No, who is he? Is he on the list of characters? I don't see him at least. Explore. Okay, I assume explore the labyrinth, maybe? Oh. Oh. Okay. This was a cool episode. I liked it very much, so how about we watch it again? Shall we? There we go. Broom sports. Apparently one of those sports is beating each other with hockey sticks. Unless it's some sort of a flying hockey that also allows the use of hockey sticks as a weapon. I don't know. But I like that there are different kinds of broom sports. The same way there are different types of horse sports, for example, in our world. It was always kind of odd in Harry Potter that there was just Quidditch and nothing else. Not even like broom racing. I genuinely don't think broom racing was mentioned as a thing in Harry Potter. And that's weird, isn't it? You'd think that that would be like the most basic sport. Maybe some sort of a triathlon or race with having to shoot down targets from midair to see how well can you cast spells while on the move, or all sorts of different sports like that. I'm glad that we hear plural, multiple broom sports. There is this, beating each other with hockey sticks, and there's perhaps other sports, racing, fencing, spellcasting, etc., etc. Acrobatics, that would be a great sport, right? You fly your broom in the most acrobatic way possible, doing loops, jumping off it, catching it again, etc., etc. There is endless potential. People below to catch them. That's good. That's good. There is some safety in place. Nana would be great at broom sports. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, she would be. All this time, until the very end, I was unsure what's his angle. Is he just shit stirrer? Does he genuinely have a dislike for friends and the concept of friendship and wants to break up every single friend group he meets? Does he want into their friend group? Does he just want to fight? And I think it's actually the latter. And Pete, of course. One shot, one kill. This, again, probably something that was glossed over in the anime and was much more fleshed out in the source material. Why is Pete out for blood? I don't know. Yeah, now that Tullio called him a princess, sure, and called out that, hey, do you really think you can get stronger like that with just friends? Would they won't always protect you, yada yada. I can see how that would strike Pete's ambition a little bit and strike the anger in him. But before that, nothing really. And combat. And this is great. This is an amazing moment between Shella and Olivier. Master of Reset style swordsmanship. But no, we should use the Nanao style. Yeah, we should master the basics. No, we should go in that direction. We should study an offensive style. But no, it will make him overly aggressive. I love it. I love it. It really is two friends, one guy approaching their friend group saying, hey, I want to watch some sci-fi shows. And a huge debate begins whether we should start with Star Wars or Star Trek. And if we start with Star Wars, should we go in chronological order of release or chronological order of how they go? Should we also add the cartoons to it? And when it comes to Star Trek, should we start with the oldest series or should we start with the movies? You know what I'm talking about. You absolutely know what I'm talking about. I love it. I love that they are such sword nerds that they argue about that. And yeah, of course, Nanao teaching him is out of the question because Nanao would be just like, her talent is innate. She wouldn't be able to teach. She'd be like, then you do a swing, like swing and stab, and swing stab, and that would be her explanation. Okay, Katie with a solution that combines both. Shella can teach offense, and Oliver can teach defense. Since Oliver's style, the one he wants to teach, is more defensive, Shella's style is more offensive, we can connect offense with defense. And that's probably the best idea, honestly, to learn multiple styles, not just stick to a single one. This is nice. Learning by doing, learning by showing. What would you do at short range? Use a sword, of course, obviously. At long range, what would you do? Use a spell. Again, obviously. At middle range, though, what do you do? Do you take a step or two forward and try to stab your opponent? But he might be able to ready a spell in that time. Or do you try to ready a spell, but will the opponent manage to approach you and stab you before you finish casting? That's nice. That really adds that layer of tactics to the combat. It's not just mindless fireball, swing, fireball, swing, lightning bolt. It's actually fencing. It's actually art. It's actually a martial art. I don't think I've ever seen this approach in any series or any manga for that matter. Usually it's like you learn swording, you learn spelling, and you just mix those two willy-nilly. there is never a character who thinks about distance that way, or, you know, anything like that. In this case, it seems like in the world itself, this fighting style of sword and spell is something that exists. You know, from just this alone, the discussion about styles, the fact that it takes so much tactical approach, you can tell, you can smell, you can feel that there have been books written on the topic, that there are masters who teach their chosen style, that there are moves like in chess, right? That there is an Algerian opening and I don't know, Brahmanian defense and stuff like that, right? From just this alone, you know that it's an actual thing in the world, not just a medium. Fighting, combat is not there just for the sake of combat, like it usually is. We give a character a sword so that he can stab. We give character a spell so that he can shoot. So that when he meets orcs, he can stab, shoot them. And that's what combat amounts to. This has a whole thing built around combat, and I really like it, I really appreciate it. Yeah, middle distance, maybe a little further, sure, Tonitrus. Nope. Too slow. You didn't finish casting. I wonder... what affects casting speed. Because so far we've heard all the spells being called out like perfectly. Tonitrus! And it takes a certain amount of time to do that. What if you were like, Tonitrus? Would that also work? And would that give you faster spell casting? Tonitrus, 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 Tonitrus. Right? I wonder if the speed at which you can chant, if we can call it a chant, actually matters. Or does the spell still needs time to warm up and appear? Because I haven't seen anybody like speed chant, which is odd, because you'd think that if it worked, people would be doing that. There would be like special classes that teach you how to speak words fast and have still correct pronunciation of them. Because again, I assume if your pronunciation is off, the spell might fizzle out or might not work at all. Interesting things to wonder about. Yeah, one way, of course, be better at sword, be better at spells, but judging the distance, that's probably the most important thing. And he's listening in, and I was still unsure what his angle is. Pulling your arm back changes the distance, yeah, and it can throw your enemy off. If you pull your hand all the way out with the sword facing out, it seems like there's less distance between you. If you hold your sword close, it seems like there's more distance between you, even if you're standing in the same spot. So that's how you can throw your opponent off. They think you're far enough for them to chant a spell, but haha, it was just an illusion. It's cool. I know a way that's much faster than what Oliver's doing. Fighting by doing, essentially. Learning by doing, learning by fighting. And is he genuinely just jealous of the attention they're getting? I think it might actually be the case that he's just an attention whore, and he can't stomach the fact that he isn't the talk of the school right now, that there are other people more popular than him. And yeah, let's figure out who's the strongest first year. He's really passionate about it, at least. You can't, say he's not. You gotta give it to him. Stace and Faye join in, of course Nanao, of course Olivier. Interesting that he does. So far he's been trying to like not stick out. He even kept denying a duel with Mr. Andrews. He even wanted to deliberately lose just to not stick out, and now he's joining an event like that. I guess maybe because it's on the down low mostly, and maybe because it would be, in this case, it would be weird of him to not join. I'm not sure. Perhaps again there's a bigger justification for it in the source material. And Shella, for the first time. Is it going to be the first time we see Shella fight, like, in actual combat? I think it might be. I hope we see Shella fight in actual combat, that is. We got the names. Why is there an equals sign between their name and surname instead of just a space? The winner will be whichever gets the most medals. And does everybody get like 5 or something? It's unspecified, so I'm gonna say between 3 and 5 medals for everybody. Okay, and a week from now, finals. Challenge anyone at any time, so not like a proper, proper bracket at the Colosseum in the labyrinth or at training grounds at school or anything of the sort. Just anybody, anytime, as long as you challenge them to a duel and don't just, backstab them in their sleep. Oh, that's Speed Tucker Evelyn Odets, I'm assuming. And yeah, she is a speed talker, all right. And of course, Nana heard nothing of that. And Odets is, like, nonplussed about it. Not even any facial change. I like it. Sekurus. And of course, Nanao. Sure, she might not be good with magic, but she's good against magic. She can just redirect the spell with her sword, which is great, which is an amazing move. I love it. I love that it's a thing that Nanao can do. And then we can all battle each other. A nice friendly competition between 3 friends, except there's 4 spots in the finals. So who's gonna be the 4th one? Who's gonna throw a wrench into their plans? I wonder. Probably a villain of the show, or an antagonist of the arc, at least. Everything's falling apart. God fucking damn it. I need to clean up this corner because there's so much shit in there. The 4th one in the finals is an antagonist. Something tells me it's not gonna be Tullio. Something tells me Tullio is going to lose to whoever ambushed him in the labyrinth, and it's going to be the ambusher who is the 4th finalist, who perhaps manages to score the most medals of everybody through some dubious means. Something tells me that's going to be the case. Maybe, as I said, backstabbing in the sleep and stuff like that. Coercion, maybe. It's been a long time since I've been so excited. I like that characters other than Nanao and Olivier are given characterization. It's such an obvious thing in retrospect, right? For other characters than the protagonists to get some characterization. And yet it happens so rarely that I feel like I need to drive attention to the fact that Shella is being characterized right now. That it's been such a long time since she's been so excited. There hasn't been anything particularly interesting going on so far. She didn't have a chance to fight yet. She likes fighting, of course. She has an upbringing of an Ojo-sama, essentially. So of course she's been taught some fencing, but she hasn't been given a chance to exert her skills to their fullest potential yet. And now she will be able to do that. She will be able to fight Nanao and Oliver and see how good she is and give her all to that combat. It's not fighting in class, that's more like mock fighting, right? It's actual combat and it's kind of exciting. I like it. I really like how much characterization Chella is getting. I guess I'm pretty tired. I was fully expecting something's gonna happen to Pete. I was fully expecting either for him to turn right here, right now, or for someone to ambush him on the way to the dorms. Perhaps Tulio. Perhaps Tulio to ambush him for the medals. Although, is Pete even taking part in the competition? I don't think he is. Shannon and Gwyn have invited you for tea. Shannon and Gwyn are not listed as such. They're not listed whatsoever on any list, actually, it seems. Unless my little funky app is having a moment again. No, she just... they just aren't listed, I guess. Okay, whatever. Through the labyrinth, and we meet Ophelia, who apparently just wants to talk. Interesting. She was out for blood the last time. This time around, she just wants to talk. Apparently, she gets lonely, which is no surprise. She lives in the labyrinth, seemingly, which I wonder what would the reason be for that. Why would anybody choose willingly to live in the labyrinth? Also, sure, she returned to the school building on several occasions. Yeah, but does she not attend classes? Right? Like, what's... how does that work? How does it work? Or are those several occasions her attending classes? I don't know. Pumpkin pie, pumpkin torts. Your habit of going on adventures that a first year is far too immature for. Carlos and I would go with him all the time. Carlos Withrow, Alvin Godfrey, and Ophelia Salvadori were all apparently friends as freshmen. I wonder what changed. I wonder what changed for Ophelia to just become a recluse in the labyrinth, escaping from something, the desire to grow stronger than what the school allows. I don't know, but I have a feeling, I have a sneaking suspicion that Ophelia might be how do you call it? I forgot the word. Resocialized? That's not the word I wanted to use. She might rekindle her relationship with Carlos and Alvin, and maybe she will come out of the labyrinth and be a student again, or something like that. Ophelia comes back to school. why do I think that? Another clue that points to that. The existence of that secret society that deals with people with sex-based traits and magic, Ophelia would fit right in. And perhaps they would be able to help her. Maybe she's reckless in the labyrinth willingly because she doesn't want to, charm the entire student body, and she can't help that. And the secret society could help her deal with that, figure out countermeasures, or I wonder if that's the thing. I wonder if she secluded herself at her own volition, especially for the next few months. What's gonna happen for the next few months? That's a question I have. Shannon and Gwyn, and yeah, they really aren't listed anywhere. Oh, and right, he was at the Secret Society meeting, wasn't he? The two of us have a long history. And apparently Shannon has a history of Ophelia with Leah. She's the type to get lonely. Sure, we know that because she wanted to talk with Oliver, just to talk. Not to fight, not to fuck with him, but just to talk, just to have a nice chat, to not be lonely. Which is like another thing that tells me she might be coming back to the light side, to the bright side, or whatever you want to call it. Maybe via Shannon. It would be nice to see them reconnect, I guess. And I wonder if that's going to be a plot point. I'm, however, imperfectly a Spellblade user myself, and it tells me she's like me. Yep. There's something about her. Absolutely. Question is what? Stay calm. The feeling of being drawn to something is of great importance to a mage. That girl will likely be someone that changes the very essence of who you are. I was fully expecting the talk to go in the direction of that girl will likely be someone that changes the very essence of who you are, and you mustn't let her do that. You must focus on revenge. You cannot stray from the path. You are our leader, Noel. You can't be swayed by such petty things like friendship. We have a grander cause to work for. I was fully expecting that. Leave the feelings that you can't express within your heart. Be yourself and be loyal to your friends in your own way. I like it. I like this talk. It was unexpected. Entirely unexpected for it to go in this direction, but I like the fact that it did. And combat with Rossi. I don't like that you're getting more attention than me. That's the reason. I think that's genuinely the reason. He's just jealous. I think he's genuinely just jealous. And he likes to fight. So why not, connect those two things and have a fight that can also alleviate some of that jealousy. No magic besides the anti-lethality spells, and at half strength so that we at least bleed. This is a direct confirmation that mages have control over how strong their spells are. I fight dirty. Indeed. Yeah, with a knuckle duster, with a stomp on the toes. Absolutely. With a punch and a kick and whatever else. This is something that's maybe not a trope, but it's... I guess maybe it is recurring enough to be a trope, but not in like a negative way. Where there is a user, the master of the sword stance of the gods or whatever, right? the Bulgarian opening, the Bavarian strike, the 7 moves of a fox god, and all those sorts of techniques they have mastered, but they fold as soon as someone brings a kick to combat. Because they've been taught sword fighting, and they fight with like one hand behind their back and just go fencing. But then comes someone who was trained on the streets and starts punching, starts kicking, starts headbutting, starts biting, starts scratching, starts kicking up sand and whatnot, and the master of the technique of the gods suddenly doesn't know what to do. Because he's been fighting other masters of the technique of the gods, and they've been all, fencing, stab slash block, stab slash block. Everybody knows that's how you do that. That's how Master Alfredo set it up 2,000 years ago, right? I like that it's the case here, but what I also like is the reversal of it. Double reversal even. It's not the one who fights dirty who wins. It's the one who actually mastered the stance of the gods by Master Alfredo. Because that stance of the gods, or whatever the style is called, I don't know, Bogdanov style or whatever, actually takes into account that someone might be using their kicks and their punches and their headbutts and whatnot. My training wasn't so shallow that I'd be thrown off by cheap tricks. Yeah. Exactly. There are very few striking moves in the basic 3 styles, true. And but there are moves that actually help you deal with wild combatants, right? A grab instead of a strike. The styles have been around for many years, too many to be beaten by a bit of cleverness. Exactly. This is something that those situations where a street rat wins against the master of a godly stance because of kicks and punches can fall apart. If the stance is so powerful and so, so widespread and widely known, and it's been around for 2,000 years, surely someone at some point fought a street rat and adjusted the stance, adjusted the combat style accordingly. Surely. It must have happened. And it did. A very realistic portrayal of how it would actually look like. I really like it. And then Nanao Oliver also fights a little bit dirty. Not like full on dirty, but he also makes use of more than just a sword. He has a little tiny buckler on his hand. Yeah, it's not just you who can block with their fist. I can also do that. It's cool. It's great. I love it. This is okay. I'm going out of order for a little bit. You should learn one of the basic 3 styles. And yeah, I'm jealous. Nothing I did in our fight was the product of my own talent. He's not proud of mastering the 3 stances, because it's someone else's knowledge. He's just mimicking someone else. He's just using what someone else thought of. It wasn't his talent that brought him to this level of ability in combat. It was someone else's. He just learns and mimics, and that's it. There isn't any of him in the fight. Nothing I have is truly mine. It's all been given to me by someone else. It's all been taught to me. It's all been ingrained into me. This is another bit of reversal. There is no pride in mastering the godly style. There's jealousy of the street rat who figured out how to fight himself, who created his own combat style. It might be inferior, doesn't matter. But it's his own. It's his own talent. It's his own mastery. It's his own device, his own innovation that did it. I really, really like it. I really do. Yeah, you have a unique way of fighting. It's not any of the three styles. And you should learn one of the basic three styles, of course, if for no other reason than to know how to combat it. To master your own style, to hone it in a way where you have counters to the other three styles. Someone's calling me, I'm gonna call you back. Right? I really like it. It's not common. It really isn't. Usually it's either the wild street combat style that's praised as the one who won against the master, so of course everybody should be fighting this way. Or it's the master who is praised because despite of the dirty tricks of the street rat, the master of the stance of Bogdanovs have won, right? But it's never a merger of those two. The street rat has a lot to learn from the Bogdanov style, and the Bogdanov master has a lot to learn from the street rat. It's cool. I like it. Also, to go back a little bit, another bit of reversal. Tulio keeps his word. You piss me off. I really wish I didn't lose against you. What a shitty start, but hey, here's your medal. You won it fair and square. I lost, you won. That's it. Them's the rules. It's fair. I would have expected him to be like, no, I cannot be defeated again, and you know, this kind of an approach, and eventually for Oliver to have to knock him out unconscious and leave him there so that he doesn't want to fight anymore. But no, he's being a good sport about it. I didn't expect that, but I really like it. Was I too arrogant? No, just get out. Stop talking to me. How much do you have to practice to follow the textbooks to the letter like that? Probably a lot. The you I saw that night wouldn't have even let him get within range of your shadow. The sheath that is your kindness can sometimes dull your shine. But if killing me can help regain your luster, I would be honored to be your What? What? Is it like, I like it when you're raging, and when you rage with reckless abandon, you are the strongest, and you are the flame that cleanses the foes of your mother. And now, being at school, having friends have dulled you. You're no longer the person you are. If killing people is what is required for you to feel the bloodlust again, then kill me. Is it something along those lines? I don't know. And instant switched into a wavy mouth. It's great. It's a great contrast to her. First she speaks like an android, and then she like fumbles her words and has a wavy mouth. And the awawa. And the hawawa. And someone corners Tullio in the labyrinth. Who is it? It's not Cyrus. It's not Andrews. It's someone we haven't met yet, I think. You're going to lose what you have and get nothing in return. Okay, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Episode 8, Rivals. Next time, explore. Explore the labyrinth, probably, because what else is there to explore, really? I guess there is world outside of the school, but it hasn't really been touched upon, right? We've been in the city once in the first episode, and the rest is just school. So it's not like they would be... or maybe they would be exploring the city. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what they will be exploring. Okay. Okay. That was episode 8 of Nanatsu no Maken ga Shihai Suru, and unsurprisingly, it was great. It was great in so many ways. I really like how much reversal there is. How this show took a genre that is known for being very samey and very formulaic and made it completely unique. Made it quote-unquote properly, right? Uses the full potential of the genre. Similarly to, I don't know, Overlord using the full potential of isekai genre. Kinda, sorta. The same goes for this. Nanatsu no Maken ga Shihai Suru uses the full potential of Magical Academy genre that other shows seem allergic to. And does it in pretty much every which way. But at the same time, it's not this sort of a forceful subversion, right? It's really not the haha, wink wink, did you see how we subvert that, wink wink, you expected something else, wink wink, but it was something else, wink wink, right? It's not subversion for the sake of subversion. It's subversion through making sense, through building the world that is coherent and cohesive, through making characters that are people and not just pawns in the game, not just paper cutouts playing out the story that the author wants to play out. It's not subvertive because it wants to be subvertive. It's subvertive because to do things in a way that make sense and are realistic in a Magical Academy show automatically means to be subvertive, if you know what I mean. Right? Because the staple of Magical Academy shows, for example, is that the student council has more power than God himself. In this show, it's not the case, because it's realistic for it to not be the case, but at the same time, it's a subversion of the trope. It would be common in a Magical Academy kind of show for secondary characters to not get any sort of characterization and just be set pieces for the main character to shine on. Meanwhile, this show does characterization for its secondary characters, and that automatically creates a subversion. The fact that Guy was useful during the snake explosion makes sense in this world. He's a farmer, son of a farmer, and they've been dealing with pests like that, so of course he knows how to deal with them, and he's helpful, he's useful, and that's a very realistic take on the topic. Meanwhile, in the Magical Academy show, the usual, like, I don't know, Rokudai Kishino Cavalry, it would be the main character who deals with the snakes, because of course. And that automatically creates a subversion. It's very interesting. It's very cool, very pronounced, because it's everywhere, but also very subtle. And very, as I said, very what? Very what? What did I want to say there? I don't know. It's very. I like it. Thumbs up. Yeah, I really like also how this show does world building without the need for much world building. And without the need for exposition, or at least much of it. From this show alone, from this episode alone, rather, I already know that magic fencing and spell swording and whatnot is an actual thing that people study, that people train, that had treatises and books and lectures and masters and all sorts of things built around it, that it's a real thing that exists in the world, despite nobody telling me about it. Right? There's nobody telling me about, oh, listen here, there's 3 combat styles, the A style, the B style, and the C style. The A style is defensive, the B style is offensive, the C style is a mixture of these two. Yeah, there's always a lively debate about whether the A style or the B style are the better style to use. There has been books written on the topic, yada 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 yada. Right? There's none of that. Everything is shown. Everything is shown. Oliver's and Chella's debate alone. That alone tells me there is a history to those combat styles, right? That it's not something the author just thought of on the spot. Oh, I need to teach Pete something, so Bogdanov style. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It can be whatever name. We're gonna teach Pete Bogdanov style, and that's it. That's the moment Bogdanov style was born. We see that there's a history to that. There's been debates. There's been people learning those styles, learning about them, and having thoughts about them, having their opinions. And it's a whole entire thing. You can't see my hand, but whole entire thing. It's great. It's great. I really love this episode, mostly for the portrayal of the fighting styles, for how well it embedded them in the world, and how much history we automatically have without anybody telling us directly that there is 3,000 years of history to those styles. Right? It's great. I love the fight. Absolutely. I really do enjoy Tulio as a character. I really hope he doesn't just die in the labyrinth, because I like him. I want him around. He's an asshole, but he's a fun asshole. It also would be nice for Tulio to, like, approach... that would be grand. I don't want to get my hopes up, but it would be great if Tulio were to approach Oliver and be like, hey, listen, I thought about what you said about the styles. Could you like teach me about one of them? Right? I would love it. I'm not sure if it's gonna happen or not, but I would love it, of course. I really like this. I really liked that fight because, again, it's realistic portrayal. It would be like that if a combat like that, if a fight like that, in a world like that were to happen. It's not as simple as a master is a master of a style is a master of a style, so he can defeat anybody. It's not as simple as a street rat who learned fighting from thieves and assassins is the better one because he uses underhanded tactics. It's not as simple as that. There's a nice combination of those two. There are good sides to one, there are good sides to the other. And even if you are a master of a certain style, can you really call that achievement your own? Right? It's kind of like first thing that came to my mind was in Poland we have those like academic, I mean everywhere in the world probably, like academic degrees. In Poland it's roughly translating licensee/engineer, depending on whether you take an engineering studies or not. Then there is the magister, and then there's the doctor. And roughly the requirements are for licensee/engineer, they need to know how to use existing knowledge. And their thesis is about using existing knowledge. Then a magister should be able to create new knowledge. Or maybe it was the doctor. I'm not sure right now. I would have to check it out, but I don't want to waste your time. But yeah, essentially, the lower requirement is to master existing knowledge, rather, to use existing knowledge, be able to use it. So, for example, my thesis was about making a game with Unreal Engine. So I used the existing knowledge of Unreal Engine, of Unreal Engine existing, the existing knowledge of tutorials, documentation, and whatnot. And I got my engineer degree for that. Meanwhile, if I were to go higher, I would need to, for example, create my own gaming engine and write about that in my thesis. It really reminded me of that. Like, Olivier right now is the engineer. He knows how to use existing knowledge and knows how to use it perfectly. Meanwhile, Tullio is the doctor. He created new knowledge. Right? I really like it. I really do. You never really see the approach. It really was the first time I was met with, sure, I mastered the style of Bogdanov's, but it's not mine. It's not my talent that I used. It's not something I created. I was taught that. There are predefined moves that you do in predefined situations. There's nothing of me in my fighting. It's cool. It's cool. It's immensely cool. I love it. I really do. Is there anything else that I would need to say? No, I think that's it. I think I said my piece. One more thing. I really like how Olivier met his compatriots just for tea and cake. Seemingly. At least, seemingly. And I guess also to discuss Nano's 7th Spellblade, but that was kind of a digression there. I don't know how it went in the source material, of course, maybe it was a whole bigger thing. But I like how those two worlds merge, but they don't have to like merge fully. Usually when a character leads a second life, some underground organization and whatnot, when they meet, it's to discuss their next move. In this episode, they didn't discuss their next move. They didn't call in Olivier like, listen, Noel, it is time to strike again. We have information that Enrico Forgieri will be traveling to the town of Hogsmeade on the next Thursday. It will be a great chance to ambush him in the forest and dispose of him. You know, it wasn't that. It was just a couple of friends meeting for some tea and catching up. I really, really like it. I really like how this entire show has that underlying premise of revenge, but it doesn't permeate everything. It's with the episode with Darius, this show didn't turn into a revenge show. It keeps being a Magical Academy show, with the revenge still being like underneath and sometimes resurfacing a little bit. It's great. I love it. I love this show. And it's a pity it's 13 episodes. I honestly was expecting it to be like 24. I would love for it to be 24, but alas. Right, I've been talking for almost an hour and a half. Jesus Christ, when did the time go? So it's time to end it, probably. But maybe you guys have something more to say, and if you do, say so in the comments down below. What did you think of this episode, my reaction, my theories, stuff like that? No spoilers, please, I beg of you. Spoilers can go to my Discord here and also in the description below. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Nanatsu, Maken, Shihai Suru, but also Zom 100, Helck, Atelier, Ryza, Undead Girl, Murder, Farce, Magia Record, and Ancient Magus Bride, and others coming at you in the future. I also stream sometimes, so you might want to click the bell icon to be notified of when I go live. Support the channel monetarily if you want on Patreon, linked it down below, where for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Magia Record, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, share my content, spread the word, costs you nothing, helps a lot. And with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff. And I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's the list of my wonderful patrons: QB without the net, Fruity, Angaiju, Duturus, Kurum, MZ, Rainer, Commancer, Marsh, Fassel, Dr. Wood, and Hans Peter. And you can join them without the need to fight Oliver.